Hey guys, here's a quick video on something a little different. It's not a TV, it's not a radio, it's a table, but not just any table. So it's old, yeah, I think it's mahogany maybe, I think it's solid wood, certainly has a mahogany finish on it. But what's different about this table is it rotates. This is actually a TV table. Vintage, I'm guessing could very well be from the late 40s, like most of my TVs. Idea being, you put your TV on there and, well, you rotate it to suit your viewing needs. Now, something else I thought was interesting is how they actually implemented the roller mechanism. I'm more accustomed to a Lazy Susan type mechanism where there's two metal plates with ball bearings set into a groove. Two plates on top of each other and it rotates around. Now this, underneath, there's a single screw in the middle. That's just to kind of keep it centered and hold it on. The actual roller mechanism, it's a little hard to see, but there are actually rollers set into the bottom. One in each corner. And so, a metal cylinder with a pin going through the middle rotates vertically, and this runs along the top of it. I'm hoping if I loosen up that screw, I can take the top off so I can get some oil in there, because as you can hear, it's very squeaky. Something else I want to do is my usual treatment and get some pads underneath this. I managed to get the usual metal caps. I think there might only be... oh yeah, they're all still there. And that will destroy my floor if I was to slide this table. So we're going to pop those metal caps off or leave them on. And either way, I always put these adhesive pads on the bottom of everything. Either leave the metal caps on and just stick these right under the caps, or pry the caps off. In this case, I think I'll leave them on because these legs are so small. Oh, here, I'll show you. So here it is upside down. So here's the caps I was talking about. The reason I think I'm going to leave them on is these have metal prongs and they get hammered right into the leg. To get them out, usually you got to kind of dig in there and pry. Well, there's so little wood around here, I don't want to risk damaging anything. So I'll just peel off the adhesive backing and just stick them on like that. And here's a look at the mechanism underneath, or the assembly. It's curious that they put a wing nut on each side, so I'm thinking if you loosen these up, the legs come off. I don't know, they're on there very solidly, so I don't feel like messing with it. And that sure looks like hide glue to me. Just crinkling up a bit. Not the best glue, I mean, back in the day it's what they had, but heat and humidity will take its toll and often joints start to loosen up. But this right now seems pretty solid. So I got this off the local Craigslist, very close to home. Very happy to get it because I have one particular TV I want to put on top of it. Now this one's generic, as near as I can tell there's no maker's mark or anything, but there are some tables that were made just for the TVs. I know RCA 630TS, I've got the original table for that, and the one that I'd really like to get someday is a GE for their locomotive type TVs, which are long and narrow, and they made a stand just for them. Quite hard to find. So I'm going to get some felt pads on this, flip it back over, and then pull out the TV that I have in mind for this table and see how it fits. Pardon me while I catch my breath. I had to carry this in from the garage. Getting too old for this stuff. Anyways, you may recognize this as the very rough Admiral 20X136. That was a barn find that ended up replacing all the faux finish down here with real burled veneer. Anyways, since I moved, this has been languishing out in the garage, so I didn't know where to put it. Well, now I know where to put it. Fits perfectly. A little harder to rotate this with the TV on top, that's for sure. Definitely need to oil those bearings, but anyways, As you can see, these were really made exactly for these TVs. Most TVs of this era that were 10 or 12 inch and tabletop were very similar dimensions because, well, it's the nature of the picture tube. They are about this long and, well, that big across. So there you go. Nice. So this is, as I showed in earlier videos, this is what evolved into my display room, which is just a terrible layout. But that's just how I have them packed in right now. I say that because, well, you can't really open these doors. You get this radio. Can't really open these doors. Or at least you could till I put this in here. But for now, hey, they're all out of harm's way and on display. I'll figure something out better eventually. The problem being that this is the only wall that's open. This, we got a window and a return vent. This, with its 4 legs, can almost span that. Not quite, but I'm not too worried about it. I could put some kind of bracing. Plus, this thing's pretty strong. It could hold some weight. So I could put that there, although it blocks the window a little bit. This side, closet door. This side, main door into the room. So, you know, where are you going to put stuff? So, anyways, I'll figure it out eventually. Get some shelving in here, too. Some of these radios, I mean, you might think, hey, put this on a shelf. But this Philco 90 is pretty dang heavy, so it has to be a very strong shelf. I suppose one last thing I'll do is power this set up, which I haven't done in a while because the original plug was really nasty, so I cut it off. So I'm going to go see what I can dig up. So the cord's in decent shape, so I think I can reuse it. Just got to find something to fit on the end of it. I think this will do nicely. Rated for 125 volts, 10 amps. I'm not sure what this came out of, but it seems about period correct, non-polarized, and it's got screw terminals inside. Best part of all, it's meant to be reused, so get those old leads out, splice some new ones in, should be in business. Well, I'm really not satisfied with, I'm really not happy with how well this turns, so I'm going to try taking it apart. I think all I have to do is take out the center screw and then hopefully I can get the bearings and clean them up and put on some new grease. Yeah. Alright, so this is a circular track worn into the top from the rollers. Yeah, it's just years and years of the rollers rubbing against the wood, which I do believe is solid mahogany, and then to the rollers. And actually, they spin quite well. I appear to not have any lubrication in them whatsoever. It looks like it's a piece of metal with 4 points bent over, and then they just hammer it down. Can't get it from the other side, so I'm not going to pry these up or try to clean them out or anything. What I will do is get some grease and toothpick and get some down in there. See, boy. Actually, you know, now that I think about it, yeah, they turn easily when there's no weight on them, but if I push down on this one, it starts to bind up quite a bit. This one, not so much. Maybe this one's got a little corrosion on it. And this one's pretty stiff too. And that one, that's not too bad, but I'm sure a little grease will help. And I was thinking the only other place where it might be binding a little bit is the center pivot, which is nothing more than a wood screw. So it was going up like that, and the whole thing rotates on that. So it's just raw wood. Looks like there's no finish on this at all against metal. So, what to use for a lubricant? Well, there are a few products I keep on hand. One, I have a very lightweight oil that I use for things like clock mechanisms. It's kind of like sewing machine oil. I don't think that would be appropriate here. I've got Lubriplate number 105, motor assembly grease. This is a kind of light though. It's sort of a light grease and also has an oil component to it. I use this in things that aren't so heavy duty, like a tuner maybe, or some bearings that don't get a whole lot of weight on them. And then I've got this, which is just heavy duty grease, heavier viscosity, lithium type grease, and that's what I'm going to go with for this. So I smeared some in there and I'm going to work it in well and then clean off the excess. Now, one thing you never want to use is WD-40. That WD stands for water displacement. And a lot of people use it for lubricant. They shoot it into a lock or spray it onto hinges, things like that. It's really not what it's meant for. It's meant for driving moisture out. So good to spray on things like tools after you use them, like a saw. You don't want it to rust, but not for long-term lubrication. You really want to use a grease. Yeah, that definitely helped. Maybe not the most exciting little project, but I think it's interesting to take a look at accessories to these vintage TVs now and then. And this is my first TV table, and I can see why they would be useful. These TVs are rather large and bulky and have small screens, so not so easy to move them, and you definitely want to have the best viewing angle when watching the small screen. Alright, that is going to be it. Hope you enjoyed this look at a vintage TV table. I'm thinking from the late 40s or early 50s.